Training. We're certified, mobile, local, and insured. 541-980-1181. 980-1181. That's SheFire.
Good morning. Today we are looking at mostly sunshine with a high near 89 and gusts of wind as high as 23 miles per hour. Mostly clear skies overnight tonight, a low near 59. 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com presents the Mid-Columbia Today Show with Mark Bailey. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital, Eastside Paving, and Del Carpine Automotive. Now, here's Mark Bailey.
And good morning. It's Friday morning. And it's Marti Dane. I'm filling in for Mark Bailey this week. And I've got to say, even if you aren't working a full-time job, Friday still feels like the end of something important. I think, we get trained into that as we're kids and as we grow up. It's work week. It's Friday at the radio station. It's Mid-Columbia Today, and we are here to share a few fun and interesting facts with you. For example, it's July 24th. I don't know about you, but I feel like we're already more than halfway through the summer because we've just had this amazing weather, and it's been a lot of sun, not a lot of rain, a lot of really nice time to be out in the weather. I know that's got a lot of implications for all those people who rely on that rain. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But today, July 24th, other things were happening. In the summer, people were thinking about what to do and how to do it. However, not all people were having a great day. For example, back in 1567, Mary, the Queen of Scots, was forced to abdicate her throne to her 1-year-old son, James. On July 24th, in 1847, Mormon leader Brigham Young and his followers arrived in Salt Lake Valley, present-day Utah. I think they kind of liked what they saw. It probably would have been a lot different trip and a lot different evolution of what particular religion had they arrived in, say, December? I digress. Southern Utah is gorgeous any time of year. In 1866, Tennessee became the first state to be readmitted to the Union after the Civil War. In 1915, the SS England, a passenger ship that was carrying more than 2,500 people, it was docked at the Clark Street Bridge on the Chicago River, and it rolled onto its side. Unfortunately, an estimated 844 people died in that disaster. In 1959, during a visit to Moscow, Vice President Richard Nixon engaged in his famous kitchen debate with Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev. Maybe somebody could help me out with that one, because I just don't recall a kitchen debate. And I grew up in Oregon schools. Oregon schools do a really good job of educating all the different topics, but that was one that my teacher somehow passed over. I remember Nixon from what happened in 1974, because the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously ruled that President Richard Nixon had to turn over subpoenaed White House tape recordings to the Watergate special prosecutor. I think we all know, or maybe a lot of us out there know, because I'm showing my age a lot today, that resulted in President Richard Nixon resigning. In 2010, a stampede inside a tunnel crowded with techno music fans left 21 people dead and more than 500 injured at the famed Love Parade Festival in Western Germany. And another fact from today. In 2013, a high-speed train crash outside Santiago de Compostela in northwest Spain killed 79 people. I'm starting to get the feeling that these are a little bit of a danger, or be sure to be careful out there if you're on wheels, if you're in a boat, or even on a train. However, I've had a theme that I've been able to carry throughout the whole week, and that has to do with space travel. Now, for whatever reason, there's dangers on the street. There's dangers in the plane, or there's dangers in lots of travel. But if you're up in the air and if you're up high enough, you do have a pretty good chance. So on July 24th in 1969, the Apollo 11 astronauts, 2 of whom had been the first humans to set foot on the moon, splashed down to safety in the Pacific. And then again, in 1975, an Apollo spacecraft splashed down in the Pacific, completing a mission which included the first docking with a Soyuz capsule from the Soviet Union. Those led me to look into this Soyuz capsule, which gave me a fun story that I'll share with you in just a moment.
No matter what the time of year, there's always something happening at Farm Grass Table. Stop in for your favorite flour, carts, edibles, plus daily deals, a loyalty program that earns you points, and special discounts for locals. Don't miss our in-store game with weekly prizes, just for fun. And getting here is easy. Exit 62 right off I-84 with free parking and a huge lot waiting for you. Farm Grass Table, your hometown dispensary, right off exit 62.
Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug. For use only by adults 21 years of age or older. Keep out of the reach of children.
Promote your local business with Summit Embroidery Works. Proudly serving our community, Summit Embroidery Works specializes in custom embroidery that showcases your brand with flair and professionalism. Uniforms, promotional items, and personalized gifts, unparalleled quality and service is our guarantee.
This is Dawn from Summit Embroidery Works. Discover how we can help your business stand out. Visit summitembroideryworks.com today and let us put your logo to work for you.
There's nothing like the feeling you get when lending a helping hand to a neighbor. Many Gorge families are without transportation, and you can help do something about that. Bi-Coastal Media and C.H. Ernest Motors present Wheels of Hope. This fall, we'll hand over the keys to a 2015 Nissan Sentra. If you know a local family that has fallen on hard times and needs a vehicle, you can help them by nominating them at gorgeradio.com. You can make a difference in the lives of others in our community. Nominate a vehicle-challenged family today at gorgeradio.com. Wheels of Hope also supported by A&E Plumbing, Heating and Air, Walmart of the Gorge, Pioneer Appliance, Columbia Cascade Housing Corporation, Skyline Health, Sinclair, Wagap, Bimart, and Pee Wee's Auto Detail. Visit gorgeradio.com to see how you can make a difference with Wheels of Hope.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bi-Coastal Media, Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
And welcome back. We are in the midst of stories about what happened with space shuttles. I have never thought I would go down this rabbit hole, but here we are. So we were just talking about how some of our space shuttle missions, Apollo missions, were indeed to dock in collaboration with the Soviet Union. So there was a series of Soyuz capsules that came down too. So this one was one of my favorite. During Soyuz 5, the service module didn't detach. The cosmonaut Boris Volynov had to re-enter head first. But for this, it wasn't built to operate that way. So it actually caused the capsule to become a burning red until the one part of it broke off, and then the capsule flipped around with massive G-forces. It actually saved the cosmonaut, because if he had continued that direction, it wouldn't have worked. So even in the midst of coming in, an accident helped him to get to land. However, when he landed, the parachutes didn't properly open, and the landing rockets didn't fire. So he landed so hard that he actually broke all of his teeth. Not a thing the poor guy, he was in zero gravity for a really long time, and so coming back into gravity was not pleasant. And yet, it gets worse. Because of this different reentry profile, he landed hundreds of kilometers from the target. So he had to get out, and he was going home. So he's actually in the Siberian tundra, while it was negative 39 degrees Celsius outside, and he had to walk in his spacesuit, worried about bears and wolves. It says with a shotgun, and that's where I started to get a little bit. I checked it out though. This is all at least what we believe happened to the guy. He had a shotgun. He got to a nearby house, and he spent a few hours and the night with a Russian family before he was, in fact, saved. The things that people are willing to go through, and not willing, because, I mean, when you're in that situation, you're just going on sheer will to live. But I love the stories that come from when things go wrong. Not only do they give us hope for the future, they kind of make you think as a species we're pretty resilient, but it gives you something to remember. And I want to share that as a takeaway from today in history, that when things are going normal, when everything just kind of proceeds as you think it should, and it gets a little bit routine, you tend to forget the day. You don't remember what happened that Friday, July 24th in 2026. Was it a lot like Thursday, July 23rd, 2026? If something unusual happens to you, that puts a little placeholder on your memory, and you look back on it, and you remember. So, that is my thought for the day. I also have an obligation to tell you all that today is Amelia Earhart Day. It's Cousin's Day. It's National Tell an Old Joke Day. I'd say be careful with those, because there's a lot of old jokes out there that do not age well. So be careful if you're thinking about that one. The National Thermal Engineer Day, which reminds me a little bit of that guy yesterday with the Aviation Maintenance Technology Program. And if all of that is just too heavy and too academic, it's Tequila Day. And it's Drive-Through Day. I highly suggest you do not mix those two, though, because we know it can get a little out of hand. I am going to talk a little bit today on behalf of one of our guests, because we have a technical issue that made it so that Brenda Massey couldn't be on the phone with us today. She's the Quality Improvement Coordinator at Child Care Partners that's headquartered at Columbia Gorge Community College. So in preparation, and heads up, kudos to her for having prepared us to be able to talk with her, I have some information I want to share with you guys about that program. And for those of you that have lived in the Columbia River Gorge for any length of time, or maybe you've thought about it for a while and you've moved your family here, or you've started a family here, you probably know that childcare in the Columbia River Gorge faces an ongoing regional shortage. We've had a lot of growth in small communities, a lot of companies moving in, and as those families come in, as jobs come in, people don't have the ability to be in two places at once. So we have some capacity gaps. The demand for infant, toddler, and after-school care is consistently out of connection with the number of licensed slots that are available across Hood River, Wasco, Sherman, Wheeler, and Gillum counties, and Klickitat-Skamania as well. So Columbia Gorge Community College has a program that they've put together to help accelerate early childcare businesses. And one of the things that they do is education, because it's the community college. Really nice way to get started as a professional, get the education that you need, and figure out what you need to do to make it a profitable business for yourself. So you can join an in-depth course, learn how to establish, maintain, and in fact receive startup funds. Once you complete the course and obtain the actual childcare license, they give you $5,000 to get started and get rolling. In addition to that, you might be wondering, well, a couple classes or a few classes, knowing what I'm doing and starting it, what happens as questions come up? They got you covered. They support businesses with an advisor from Child Care Partners. The program is it's actually housed at Columbia Gorge Small Business Development Center and Child Care Partners in collaboration with the JTMF Foundation. John T. No, it's not John T. and Catherine D. I'm going to look that one up because if she was here, she'd tell me. So, what you will receive if you decide to be a part of this program. Learn about the business of childcare. What's involved? Who do you connect with? What other providers are out there? How do they connect with each other and learn from one another? You'll also get assistance with the completion of the licensing process. Now, I don't know about you guys, but paperwork in a digital age is sometimes glitchy. It's sometimes confusing. And even having the right documents to the right organization or the right department, filings with the state, who gets to be involved in which part and which piece, they're there to guide you through it. So if any of that is keeping you from considering starting a business, go down there and talk to them. I think that you find there's a lot of answers that are easier than you might have expected. Also, it's doable. If you started in August, you'd be done by the end of September. 2 months. And not even every day. A total of 6 classes. And so, let's see. First class, August 4th. Next class, August 11th. I'm thinking it's weekly for 6 weeks. Apologies, as I'm translating numbers in my head. It's definitely one of my weaknesses is numbers. But all sessions are from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night, and you get to do that once a week. You got a whole week before the next one. This works with a regular working schedule, and once you're done, then you can set your own schedule. So the idea of bringing control over your own schedule and what to do with it is interesting to you. We'll talk a little bit more about this right after this break.
The 4th of July sales event is going on now at C.H. Ernest Motors. Well-qualified buyers get $3,000 retail bonus cash allowance, plus no monthly payments for 90 days or 0% APR financing on select 2026 Wrangler models. Come in and talk with a certified expert today to learn more. C.H. Ernest Motors, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, your only locally owned dealer since 1946, between Fred Meyer and Safeway in the Dalles, or online at earnestmotors.com.
Tired of boring jobs? Wake up, literally. Ground and Hood River is hiring. We're not just brewing coffee, we're fueling mornings, rescuing Mondays, and handing out happiness in a cup. Whether you're a decaf sipper, double shot dependent, or somewhere in between, we're looking for people who believe medium roast is a mood, not just a menu item. No robots, no stiff uniforms, just good vibes, good beans, and a crew that's got your back. If you're ready to caffeinate the world, apply today at Ground and Hood River. Smiles and espresso included.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the gorgeous local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
And we're back with Mid-Columbia Today. I am sharing information about Columbia Gorge Community College and some of the things that they're doing to help people who might be interested in doing a shorter education program. Yesterday, things start to blend together a little bit for me, but yesterday on the program, we had one of the instructors for the Aviation Maintenance and Technology program, and that was a program that they're doing that you can be FCC certified in only 18 months, and that leads to the potential for jobs that are in that $50,000 to $60,000 range just right off the bat. That translates to somewhere around $35 an hour. And then advancement opportunities where if you wanted to go from working on commercial jets or small airplanes, just a lot of different choices within an industry that you can have the skills for. And you hear a lot today about how the world's changing and how AI is going to be replacing different kinds of jobs. There are a lot of things that artificial intelligence can do. Picking up a wrench, turning a bolt, picking up a child, hugging them, there's never going to be a replacement for that. And trying to figure out how to solve a problem that's right in front of you, you can see with your eyes, is really at that complication level that needs a human. And so I'm hoping that the humans that are out there get a little bit of hope from the idea that the kind of jobs that will result in ongoing sustenance, making money, keeping a secure future, actually are not only needed, they're rewarding. Childcare is one of those really rewarding kinds of jobs. I mean, there's probably some struggles, and I imagine there's some things out there that get a little tricky. I know I've been on, I have raised children, and I've had a few opportunities to experience how creative little ones can be and how insistent they can be despite their lack of sophisticated communication skills. But if you're thinking about it, and maybe you are one of those people that just has a special touch, or maybe that's one of your challenges, you like the idea but you just don't have much experience around kids, those are the things that you might find if you check into a training program. Maybe there are skills that you could learn. Maybe there's just a few familiarity things that you need to know to really spark your interest. So that's what I've got to say about the Child Care Partners, the Columbia Gorge Small Business Development Center, and their Early Child Care Business Accelerator program. Classes start August 4th. Contact Brenda Massey. You can reach her at B. Massey, M-A-S-S-I-E, at cgcc.edu, or just go online. I just did a search for Child Care CGCC and found where you need to go. So reach out, check it out, and help to fill the need in the Columbia Gorge. People will be happy that you were there. On to additional things. Cameron, I really appreciate you being here, and this is one of those days where I've been a little less scheduled, but I would like to take you all to another commercial break, and we'll be back after this.
I'm going to read the news first, and then we'll do a commercial break. All right, looking at the news. Washington state officials have approved plans to relocate the statue of missionary Marcus Whitman from the Capitol's north entrance to a nearby hallway, making room for a new statue honoring Native American leader and environmental advocate Billy Frank Jr. The decision, finalized Thursday by two state panels, clears the way for Frank's statue to take a prominent place in the Capitol after lawmakers voted in 2021 to replace Whitman's likeness because of growing scrutiny over his role in the displacement of Native Americans in the Pacific Northwest. Frank's statue is also set to be installed at the U.S. Capitol this week, ahead of a formal unveiling later this week. State officials say Whitman's 11-foot bronze statue will remain inside the Capitol to protect it from damage, with the move expected to take place later this year or in early 2027. The Douglas County Board of Commissioners has unanimously approved a resolution supporting the Trump administration's immigration agenda and declaring the county is not a sanctuary jurisdiction. The measure, approved Wednesday, marks one of the strongest challenges yet by an Oregon county to the state's sanctuary law, which limits local enforcement cooperation with federal immigration authorities. However, the Oregon Department of Justice says county resolutions do not override state law and that it will monitor Douglas County for compliance. Supporters of immigrant rights have warned of possible legal action if the county attempts to enforce the resolution, while critics also objected to the way it was adopted, saying it was not listed on the meeting agenda and was approved without public comment. The resolution drew both criticism and support from residents, with some attendees applauding after the vote. President Donald Trump is moving forward with new double-digit tariffs on dozens of U.S. trading partners, as temporary import levies expire just after midnight on Friday. The administration says imports from 60 trading partners, representing about 99% of U.S. imports, will face tariffs ranging from 10% to 12.5%, arguing these countries have not done enough to enforce bans on goods made with forced labor. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer said the United States has strictly enforced its own forced labor import ban for nearly a century, and that it is time for its trading partners to do the same. The new tariffs replace the temporary 10% worldwide duties that President Trump imposed after the Supreme Court struck down his broader tariff plan earlier this year. And finally, a new report from the Independent Council on Criminal Justice shows homicides continue to decline across the United States, with data from 30 cities recording an 18% drop during the same period in 2026 compared with 2025. About 215 fewer killings this year. If the trend holds through the end of the year, the nation could see its lowest annual homicide rate in more than a century. The report, released Thursday, tracked 13 categories of crime and found declines in 9 of them, including carjackings, residential burglaries, and aggravated assaults. It also noted modest increases in shoplifting, domestic violence, sexual assault, and drug offenses. Experts say the overall decline in violent crime has exceeded expectations, with rates now improving beyond pre-2020 levels seen before the COVID-19 pandemic. Looking at the weather, it is 68 degrees in Hood River, 70 degrees in the Dalles, and 67 degrees in Stevenson. Mid-Columbia Today will be back shortly.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians, and recent wildfires have provided some important lessons. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Step 1. Contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of coverage. Step 2. Create a home inventory by taking photos or videos of your possessions in each room of your home. Step 3. Gather and make copies of important identifying and financial documents. Store them in the cloud or another secure location. These 3 actions can help you and your community be more resilient in the face of wildfire. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how. This message brought to you by the Oregon Division of Financial Regulation, the Oregon Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Hey, it's Zach from Del Carpino Automotive, where we specialize in keeping European rides happy. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and even those tall Sprinter vans that look like hotels on wheels. We know them inside and out. And if you're wondering where we went, we didn't go far. We're just now 5 minutes from our old shop in our brand new location in the Upper Hood River. Same trusted crew, more space, and the same honest, family-owned service. Come see us at Del Carpino Automotive. European expertise and Columbia Gorge roots.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bicoastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
And we're back in the studio. It's Marti Dane and Cameron Eisenberg. On Friday, we made it through our first week of Mark Bailey's annual vacation. I haven't heard from Mark, but because we don't, of course, because he's on vacation. But I hear he's playing golf in the Willamette Valley and visiting family. Now, his plans may have changed, but I'm thinking this is probably one of the best time periods to be out playing golf because it's just really beautiful. It's sunny. You're outside. You're getting a little bit of that forest bathing kind of thing. I'm assuming that's what happens when you play golf because I'm not a golfer. Cameron's looking at me like maybe not. You're not either, eh? Okay. Well, I, for one, am happy to see that the wind is coming back because we had a couple of days where it wasn't here and it got hot fast. And I changed my watering schedule on my yard, but somehow it seemed that in the course of maybe 3 days, things just started drying out. I think I walked across the yard and it had that not pleasant crunch to it. Now, I got to admit, I don't have the greenest, most grassy of lawns, but things are really dry out there. So take care of yourself. And even though it's not as hot as it was, you might take a look at your plants, take a look at the garden. I know we have garden tips once in a while, but just a little reminder that the weekend's coming, and this week they probably didn't get as much attention as they needed. I also have another thing from earlier. I wanted to make sure I give appropriate credit to the John and Tammy Merrick Foundation. That was the JTMF Foundation that helped to fund this program with Columbia Gorge Community College. Not only that, they've given a $1 million gift in 2023 to help transform another community college, and they've just done a lot. Their mission includes enabling children, helping older adults, assisting veterans, and supporting individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. They were founded by John Merrick and his wife Tammy, and the co-founders of Consumer Cellular. They fund their foundation with the money they made from their business. I really appreciate when families start businesses, but also then reinvest in their communities. So I want to make sure that I clarified that, because I think that they deserve more than just an initial response. Also, earlier in the week, we had a representative here from the History Museum of Hood River County, and she mentioned that the historic tours of downtown Hood River start at the Lightwell Hotel. And I think it's amazing how quickly a big sign and a big transformation changes how we refer to a building, for sure. Because in 1904, it was the Wacoma Hotel. It was actually one of the first hotels in Hood River. And by 1909, so only 5 years, I told you guys I wasn't very good at math. 5 years later, the hotel was sold and rebranded as Hotel Oregon, and a new wing increased its capacity to 100 rooms. Travel habits shifted and time took its toll, and the hotel faded into the background. In 1970s, it actually sat vacant, waiting for a new life. It's taken until 2026 to turn it back into a hotel again. And if you haven't had a chance to get down there, I know sometimes you live up in Parkdale and Odell, and getting into Hood River in the middle of the summer is not the most exciting thing. There's traffic, there's people everywhere. But I think they've just done a really wonderful job of restoring that building to a place with life in it again. And historic walking tour starting tomorrow. They're on Saturdays. And you can find out more about that again at the History Museum of Hood River County. It is 8:38 with Mid-Columbia Today. And about this time, I want to shift to our second new topic for the day, which is the Hood River County Energy Council. Now, if everything had been normal today, because normal, it gets routine. You might not remember it, just the first guest and then the second guest. So we were going to have our guest on the phone. We have a technical difficulty. So Lindsay McClure from the Hood River County Energy Council. I want to give a shout out to Lindsay and say thank you for agreeing to be on the program. And I'm going to do my best to get some of the word out, but hopefully you'll get to reschedule with Mark, who's going to be back on Monday. And Lindsay was going to be telling us about the Hood River Community Outreach event on home energy efficiency. If you're out there wondering, is there anything I can do to help make sure that my house stays cooler or my house stays warmer, or even especially in these days where we have the threat of summer wildfire smoke? How do you make sure that when you're in your home, you're getting the best healthy air possible, but also keeping your electric bills and gas bills down? So Hood River the county is hosting, in collaboration with Seeds for the Soul, Electrify Oregon, and the Columbia Gorge Climate Action Network. They're doing a community outreach event to help households navigate incentives for energy upgrades, improve energy efficiency, and save some money. If you attend, you'll learn the following: how to repair, weatherize, air seal, and insulate your home. You'll learn which resources are available to help with installing high-efficiency heating and cooling appliances, such as an electric heat pump or a high-efficiency gas furnace. And you'll learn how to receive incentives and cash payments for energy conservation measures, no matter what type of home energy heating and cooling you have. Now, I don't know about you, but personally, I'm already interested because learning how to repair, weatherize, air seal, and insulate your home, I think requires some particular skills and some particular ways to make sure that you do it right. So go down there and check it out. Once you do these improvements, I'm just going to say that it can dramatically reduce ongoing energy costs. And if you think about it, that's one of those things that you put the investment in today, and maybe it doesn't seem like a big deal. Maybe it saves you $15, $20 a month. But over the course of a year, that adds up. And it's not just this year. It's going to be every year after. There's compounding savings that can really help out, especially since some of us are spending more time indoors with these incredible temperatures. Also, some of the resources are limited to customers of Pacific Power or Northwest Natural. So not all of them are available to everybody, but it'd be good to have some assistance in sorting that out. And this event is going to be this Saturday, so tomorrow, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., May Street Elementary School. In case you don't know, that's at 1001 10th Street in Hood River, across from Jackson Park. The event is free, open to the public. Attendees will have the opportunity to sign up for a free, personalized home energy assessment to identify home incentive upgrades. I've actually seen some of the tools they use with this, where they come into your house and they go around with like a draft detector. So if you're thinking about like Ghostbusters coming into your house and trying to figure out where is the energy going, it might be kind of fun to learn. Even if you don't take advantage of one of their programs, you might learn more about how your house is operating and what you need to do. There's a variety of contractors going to be there. Oh, and childcare and food will be provided. So if you are looking for something to do on Saturday, Linda Gazzini, one of the event organizers, says that people will come away energized in every sense of the word, and they will be ready to start their energy efficiency journey, saving money along the way. This event is sponsored in part through funding from Pacific Power. Once you're there, it's not just an exhibition. So there are things to look at, but there's childcare, there's food, there's raffle tickets. You do receive one raffle ticket. I don't know if you can buy others, but the raffle you can sign up for is for solar-powered cell phone chargers. And they do have presentations in both English and in Spanish. And there you go, the Energy Council. So if you're looking for how to boost your energy conservation, I understand where that's coming from. I am going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Want a stunning new kitchen without the cost and time needed for a full remodel? Start with a simple upgrade that makes a big impact. New quartz countertops by Cambria from Adams Design Center. Made in America, Cambria is durable, non-absorbent, and maintenance-free. No sealing, polishing, or conditioning required. Spills? Just wipe them up with just soap and water with no staining. Transform your kitchen into the heart of your home. Visit Adams Design Center on 2nd Street in the Dalles and explore the beauty of Cambria today.
Unlock the potential of your local business with Summit Embroidery Works. Promote your brand with custom embroidery that reflects your unique identity. Whether it's uniforms, promotional items, or corporate gifts, we bring your vision to life with precision and style, proudly serving our community with top-notch quality and exceptional service.
This is Dawn from Summit Embroidery Works. Discover how we can help your business stand out.
Visit summitembroideryworks.com today and let us put your logo to work for you.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the gorgeous local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
And we're back with Mid-Columbia Today. I'm Marti Dane, filling in for Mark Bailey. And happy Friday to everybody. I don't know what you've got going on for the weekend, but I am excited that the temperatures have dropped a little bit. I'm personally going to make sure that I get out on the river today. And then I also I have to shout out a thank you to Lisa Commander at the Hood River County History Museum, because she was on the show earlier this week, and when she left, she dropped a series of papers on my desk, and my first thought was, it's great when people do bring information in, but these are the words that I then have to read through and try to find a way to speak out. And when we have a solid booked program, it's really hard to fit in the extra information. But it just turns out we have a few extra minutes that showed up in our schedule today, so we have a little bit of time. I want to share with you more information about what's going on at the Hood River County History Museum, and that they have two things that are going together. And one is the quinceañera tradition that is telling local stories through the dresses. So you get to go in and see the display, but you also get to hear what's going on in our community. And when people are going about celebrating, who's involved and how does it work? What's the history of it? It's not just one family's thing. It's a part of, pulling together a culture and traditions that help to mark the passage of time. It helps us to feel like we're a part of something bigger. And I'm just trying to weave this together with an instructional workshop that's also going on at the Columbia Gorge Museum, which is lacing communities together. There's a lace artist. Maggie Henselbrown is an initiative to engage curiosity and educate about the heritage art form of lace making. Now, this is not something I would have even imagined, but I know people out there are doing embroidery, people are doing crocheting and knitting. I won't say it's a forgotten art form, because obviously there are people doing it, but I think it does deserve its place in pulling people together. If you participate in this workshop, you make a lace triangle, and then you send them in to be joined into a giant installation of community lace. So they're not just giving you a souvenir or showing you how it works. They're taking what each person makes, pulling it together, and demonstrating what can happen when we come together. And that speaks to me. I am one of those people who believes that we are stronger as a community when we work together and we come together to collaborate. All of these programs for helping people, for making our community more vibrant, really does, in the end, create new traditions, creates a stronger community, and kind of a beautiful place to be. So if you're looking for inspiration or just something to do with your hands, go out to Columbia Gorge Museum and check out their lace making workshop. If you are feeling like enjoying some music, I know I've mentioned this throughout the week, but I have to give a big shout out to the Ruins as a venue, because they're doing a ton of fundraisers for organizations. Last night was the Hood River County Education Foundation fundraiser. Got to hear some really fun music. The band that they brought in from Portland was just stellar. There's another one coming up on Monday for the ice rink. So kind of changing traditions. Maybe 10 years from now, you'll have memories of being out ice skating with your kids or with your grandkids because you helped to support a new thing happening in our community. And those kinds of things help to pull together to make your weekend memorable, to make your summer memorable. And I'm just really hoping it's not just to make this particular program memorable, but I'm weaving things together. As I was driving in, I heard on the news, we had Representative Dan Newhouse talking about, he wasn't on the program, he was a part of the news break from Pacific Northwest Ag that sponsors the program. So he mentioned that we only have about 24 farmers representing us in D.C. And that when it comes to farming and the unique needs of farmers, that's not enough to really be able to make sure that the laws that are being passed or the programs that are being considered are doing enough to secure our food supply. And one of the things I've always appreciated about agriculture is that it really is one thing that pulls us all together. We need to eat. We need clean water. We need enough water to be able to hydrate the crops and grow the food. And so in representing and supporting farming and ag, farming and ranchers and all of those industries that are out there in the food world, you're supporting yourself and you're supporting your family and you're supporting the future. It also made me look a little bit into what kind of representation is out there in other ways. And this is just one I'm going to leave with you for a Friday thought. And that is that 28.2% of the representatives in Congress are women. That's 151, which 151 I feel it's been progress. We've built more representation there, but still only half of what are there's close to 50 or over 50% females in our population. So thinking about how do the things that we are putting together and the things that we are supporting at that federal level, how do those roll out to our communities, and making sure that we get the voices heard when they need to be. And I realized that I have this habit of saying, we'll see you next time. We'll see you. I'm on the radio. I appreciate that you're listening because you're not seeing me, but hopefully you're hearing all of the things that we're sharing. We will be back after this break.
Tune in weekday mornings at 8:05 and keep up with community events and issues with the Mid-Columbia Today Show on Mid-Columbia's news leaders, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital, Eastside Paving, and Del Carpine Automotive.
Going to finish up with a few of the things that are happening this weekend on our community calendar. And of course, we're a reminder that if you haven't gotten out to the fair, that's this weekend. It's all happening right now. And I think, some of those animals are probably getting a little more socialized by now. So they might even be more interested in the people walking by all the time. Also happening, much more serious note, Mid-Columbia Football Officials Association season opening meeting is July 29th at 6 p.m. at Spookies in the Dalles. The reason you need to know that is because they are seeking new officials. Learn more at the meeting or by going to osaa.org. And if you need to get out there and make a call, or you feel like it'd be fun to be out on the field, get involved. It's a fun season. It's a fun way to join in with things happening in the gorge. Also, things happening in the gorge at the White Salmon Valley Community Library. Takohachi Duo is bringing the ancient art of kamishibe to life. It's a Japanese street theater tradition. It weaves folk tales into a dynamic, interactive experience for all ages. That's coming up on July 28th. That's at 11 a.m. at the White Salmon Valley Community Library. If you are thinking about the whole segment on food and, I need to get out there and support my farmers. So I'm going to remind you that Saturday Farmers Market is in Hood River from 9 to 12. And the Trout Lake Market, the Summer Bliss, is on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's at the Grange in Trout Lake. And we've got, oh my gosh, I haven't even gone any farther. The next page we're getting into what's happening next week. And Mark Bailey's going to be back on Monday. And next week, we've got fairs going on in other places. And we've got just in case you went to the White Salmon Valley Library page and you realize that not only do they have this Japanese art, but they also have Paradise of Samoa Polynesian Dance Troupe coming up on August 6th. Look into what's going on in your community. Sometimes you start feeling like it's just the same old thing, and then you realize that other people were thinking that too, and they got busy months ago, and they planned an incredible calendar for things for you to do, to be experienced, and more than just what we're doing here today. I hope you have a great weekend. This is Marti Dane, signing off.
Columbia Today Show is a public affairs presentation of Bicoastal Media Columbia River. The views expressed on the program are not necessarily those of the station, parent company, or of the sponsors. We welcome your suggestions for future shows. Call us at 541-386-1511. Listen to Mid-Columbia Today where you want. Follow or subscribe to Mid-Columbia Today wherever you download your podcast to get the show delivered every day to your mobile device.
Today.